All right, here's our key video. This is the new stuff, rational exponent. So rational comes from the word ratio, meaning fraction. So every radical can actually be written as a rational exponent. So the root, whatever the index is of our radical, is going to be the denominator in our fraction. So if we're taking the nth root, that would be 1a to the 1 over n. So more generally, if we look at the next one, the power is the top of the fraction, the denominator, the bottom of the fraction is the index or the root. So that's how we would fill it out, which is equivalent to taking the nth root first and then raising it to that power. So now let's apply those rules. X to the 1/6, this is the index. So that would be the 6th root of x to the 1, or just 6th root of x. This is going to be, This is going to be the 7th root of x squared because, or you could do 7th root of x squared. This is the index, this is the power. All right, well, that's a fraction. 1.5 is really 1.5 or 3 halves. So that's going to be x to the 3 halves, which is the cube root of square root of x squared. So that index is a 2, which you can write or not write, doesn't matter. A few more examples here. So it's a negative. You always got to take care of the negatives first, the negative exponents. So we're going to write that as 1 over, and then we're taking the cube root of negative 343. It's a perfect cube, so that's negative 7 is the cube root of negative 343. All right, to the 1.2, we need to write that as a fraction. 1.2 is like 12 over 10, which is 6/5. So I'm doing the 5th root of 32 to the 6th. I'm going to do it this way because I want to make it smaller before I make it bigger with this exponent here. So that's our rule in general. Try to make things smaller before you make them bigger. Otherwise, they kind of get, the numbers get too big. So 5th root of 32 is 2. To the 6th is 64. Here I'm going to simplify each of these. That's a cube root. And again, it's in the parentheses so I can make it smaller before I raise it to the 4th power. Same deal here. You can write the 2 if you want. Doesn't matter. And then that simplifies like so. That gives us a 10. All right, so on the next one, we get the same base, so we got to add the exponents. Here's a little fraction addition. They already got a common denominator. I now simplify that exponent, 9 to the 4th, and that's a big one. That is 65/61. Now, in this case, it doesn't work out perfectly, right? If I do cube root, or square root cubed, that doesn't really help me. So now if I think of it as the square root of 2 cubed, that'll give me square root of 8, which simplifies to 2 root 2, and that's as simplified as possible.